11,000 international students applied to return to Malaysia. Loan repayment moratorium valued at 51.4 billion ringgit as of 6 July. Good afternoon, I'm Azlani and you're watching Updates at Noon. Health Director General Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah yesterday reiterated that the government did not discriminate against undocumented migrants in its efforts to contain the COVID-19 pandemic in the country, following an uproar over the alleged mistreatment of foreign nationals by Malaysia as claimed by international news agency Al Jazeera. Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham explained there was no discrimination when an area is declared under an Enhanced Movement Control Order, EMCO.
Done, and we have been fair. There's no discrimination when we do the EMCO or TMCO or the SMCO, because when we come down to that area, whoever you are, local, foreign, legal, illegal, all that will be tested. Then the illegal will be managed by the immigration department. So they will be put in the detention center, and the most important is to make sure they are negative and deport them as soon as possible.
At the Health Ministry COVID-19 briefing, Dr. Noor Hisham also pointed out that migrants, undocumented or documented, were also sent to hospitals such as the Temporary Quarantine Centre at the Malaysia Agro Exposition Park, MIEPS in Serdang for medical treatment should they test positive, citing the spike in recorded cases on June 4th, whereby 277 new COVID-19 cases were reported involving 271 non-Malaysians detained at several immigration detention centres in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur. Dr. Noor Hisham said it was fortunate that the outbreak was contained within. On July 3rd, Qatar-based news channel Al Jazeera released a 25-minute long documentary titled Locked Up in Malaysia's Lockdown regarding undocumented migrant workers in Malaysia. The documentary had claimed Malaysia was discriminating against undocumented migrants in its COVID-19 prevention efforts and supported this premise by quoting several apparently disgruntled foreign nationals who condemned on camera the treatment they were purportedly afforded by the authorities. Some 11,000 international students from Pakistan, Indonesia and Thailand have applied to return to Malaysia to resume their studies. Higher Education Minister Datuk Noraini Ahmad said they are the foreign students who had returned to their home countries during the Movement Control Order, MCO.
Bagi pelajar antarabangsa, mereka perlu berdaftar dengan pihak Education Malaysia Global Services sebelum diberikan kebenaran masuk ke Malaysia oleh pihak Jabatan Immigration Malaysia. Mereka perlu menjalani ujian PCR atau RTK antigen dalam tempoh 3 hari sebelum masuk ke Malaysia.
In a televised briefing, Dr. Noraini said there are over 9,000 student applications for the new intake in January and February 2021, but currently the ministry's focus is on the 11,000 students from the top 3 countries to enter Malaysia. Elaborating further, she said the student will then need to go through the immigration checkpoint before being allowed to enter Malaysia. However, they still need to undergo the 14-day quarantine. If the validity of their COVID-19 screening certificates are in doubt, the students will be asked to redo the test. She said the rule also applies to students from high-risk countries, including Indonesia. The cost of the screening in Malaysia will be borne by the international students themselves. The Social Security Organisation, SOCSO, has found that syndicates have resorted to changing patients and altering medical reports as among the modus operandi to put in false claim. Its Chief Executive, Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Azman Aziz Muhammad, said the tactics were believed carried out by masterminds such as insurance agents merely to ensure SOCSO contributors receive various benefits such as temporary disablement, permanent disablement and invalidity pension claims. He said these fakes claim masterminds were believed to be still active in the Klang Valley, Johor Bahru and Klang Selangor, and they guarantee the claims made by SOCSO contributors would be successful if handled by them. Speaking to reporters yesterday, he said these masterminds dupe contributors by saying they are middlemen who could guarantee obtaining their claims from SOCSO, and the masterminds would charge between 15,000 to 20,000 ringgit. Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Azman said there were 415 cases of false claim detected by the organisation from 2017 to 2019 involving losses amounting to 26 million ringgit, and if the false claims were successful, the losses would run up to 68 million ringgit. Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Azman stressed that SOCSO did not appoint any representatives or agents to facilitate claims nor promise claim approval by SOCSO. In this regard, he also confirmed the arrest of 3 family members believed to be masterminds of a SOCSO claim syndicate. The suspects, aged between 35 and 67, were detained by MACC on Monday after giving their statements in Putrajaya. The body of a woman, one of 3 Indonesian migrants who went missing after a boat they were travelling in capsized in the waters of Tanjung Piai near Pontian on Tuesday, was found yesterday. Johor Maritime Director First Admiral Maritime Aminuddin Abdul Rashid said the body was found by the Singapore Police Coast Guard SPCG, who alerted the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA at noon. In a release statement, he said the body of the woman was found near Tuas Port by SPCG and taken to the port for further action. Aminuddin said the body was later identified as one of the victims being looked for in the search and rescue SAR operation being conducted. He said the SPCG would handle the body in collaboration with the Indonesian Embassy in Singapore, while the search for the 2 others still missing was now underway. In the incident, 3 Indonesians, 2 women and a man went missing when their boat capsized while trying to escape from an MMEA patrol boat. The incident occurred around 2 a.m. at about 4.3 nautical miles southeast of Tanjung Piai when the boat was spotted carrying 5 people, including a skipper. The boat skipper, however, was rescued and detained while another woman was rescued by a merchant ship near the scene. 3 men have been arrested on suspicion of being involved in drug trafficking, and police seized 47 kg of drugs worth 2 million ringgit in several raids around the capital on Friday and Monday. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Sri Mazlan Lazim said all the local men were between the ages of 28 and 35. He said the first arrest involved a 28-year-old man last Friday. He was arrested in a car near Jalan Ipoh and police found drugs suspected of shabu weighing 500 grams. Following the investigation, the suspect took police to a condominium on Jalan Metro Perdana on the same day, where police found 300 grams of shabu and 1,300 ringgit cash. Datuk Sri Mazlan said police then raided another condominium in Taman United and arrested a 35-year-old man at the door of the condominium lobby.
Dan dalam kita buat pemeriksaan di dalam bangunan tersebut ataupun di dalam kondo berkenaan, pihak kita telah menjumpai dadah yang disyaki metafetamin anggaran berat 30,650 gram, heroin anggaran berat 2,900 gram dan pil Elemin 5 anggaran berat 14,450 gram, iaitu 50,000 biji. Dan turut dirampas adalah sebuah kereta Proton Saga BLM yang mana bersama itu adalah wang tunai berjumlah RM9,500.
Briefing reporters yesterday, he said the 2 suspects have no criminal record and were found negative for drugs, adding that the seized drug could supply 81,300 addicts at a time. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Mazlan said police on Friday arrested a 28-year-old man with a criminal record and seized 394,000 ringgit cash at a condominium in Jalan Kuchai Maju. Further inspection of the condominium unit, police found a safe and seized cash both in local and foreign currency worth over 220,000 ringgit, as well as various jewellery worth 284,505 ringgit. The case is investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Coming up next, local hotels see upsurge in reservations until June. The moratorium on loan repayments by financial institutions, which took effect on 1st April as part of the Prihatin Rakyat Economic Stimulus Package, Prihatin, is estimated to be worth 51.4 billion ringgit as at 6 July. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said of the total, 17.9 billion ringgit was utilised by the business sector, while 33.38 billion ringgit was utilised by the public.
Walaupun hanya bersifat sementara, pemberian moratorium ini dilaksanakan pada masa yang tepat dan dapat membantu golongan terjejas, terutama yang kehilangan sumber pendapatan. Ini dapat meringankan bebanan kewangan dan membantu isi rumah terjejas untuk meneruskan kehidupan tanpa perlu risau memikirkan komitmen hutang.
He said this during a Facebook Live session presenting the latest report on the implementation of Prihatin and the National Economic Recovery Plan, Penjana. Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul, however, reminded borrowers that the moratorium period would end on 30th September. The report was the 12th by the Economic Stimulus Implementation and Coordination Unit between national agencies, Laksana. For those facing financial difficulties and may need to restructure and reschedule their facilities, he said these borrowers are advised to get early targeted assistance. This can be done by consulting their respective financial institutions or the Credit Counselling and Debt Management Agency AKPK for advice. The tourism sector has seen an upsurge with hotel reservations nationwide showing an increase of up to 30.74% until June. Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Seri Nancy Shukri said hotels were being filled up by domestic tourists and this had helped revive the country's economy, which was badly hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. In terms of hotel reservations, from March, the occupancy rate was 18.29%. In April, it dipped 8.8% because of the COVID-19 peak in the country, and in May, during the Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO, 9.63%. She said until 30th June, occupancy surged to 30.74%. Datuk Seri Nancy said this shows that the public is beginning to go out because the situation in the country is quite safe. She said the ministry always cooperated with the industry players in the tourism sector to tackle the effect of COVID-19. National Under-19 coach Brad Maloney says he is confident that Wan Ahmad Kuzri, Wan Kamal, will be able to blend in with the other players once he joins in full training with the Under-19 squad. Although the player has yet to report for training duty at Kelana Jaya, Maloney is still confident that Wan Kuzri would be able to adapt to his system fast. It was understood that Wan Kuzri had already arrived in the nation's capital since last week, but has not reported himself at Wisma FAM in Kelana Jaya as he still needed to get green light from the relevant authorities in light of the COVID-19 outbreak.
I think Wan Kuzri will be a very valuable asset. So whether he plays with certain players or the others, I think he'll be excellent. And hopefully we can get him here sooner rather than later so that he can be active and not have to be in self-isolation for so long.
Wan Kuzri, Wan Kamal, who plays for St. Louis FC in the USL Championship in the United States, is among 35 players called up for centralized training in preparations for the AFC Championship in Uzbekistan in October. Malaysia has been drawn in Group D with Tajikistan, Qatar and Yemen. Wan Kuzri is the younger brother of Wan Kuzain, who plays for Sporting Kansas City in the Major League Soccer in the US. That's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, 11,000 international students from Pakistan, Indonesia and Thailand apply to return to Malaysia. Don't forget to tune in to News at 10 this evening on the Berita RTM News channel on My Free Views channel 123. You can also stream MyClick saluran berita RTM. Till then, I'm Azlan Yadani. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.